Nice even number. Wow. So, we have 10 readers tonight so far. Some people might turn up. Has everyone put their name on the list who wants to read? So, my name is Blaise, for anyone who, I think I've met everyone, so everyone knows me. Kev is on camera, so if you don't want to be on YouTube, please let him know, because he's going to be recording everything. Les is up the back timing, so we've got 5 minutes. A bit longer tonight because we haven't got as many people.
That's a nice looking book.
Yes, so our featured book this month is, for those people who didn't make the launch, this is Les's book. Les is going to read tonight. Did you put your name down, Les?
It's the first I've heard of it. It's under Lazarus.
There's a reason again, isn't it?
He hasn't put his name down. Lazarus is reading. You did bring stuff to read? Or you got lots of books to read? So, and it's for sale, $30. We have EFTPOS for present. It is aimed at young adult, 16 to 25-year-olds, but obviously it's also good for adults. It's a good adult. It's sort of a crossover novel. Okay, we might start with David Murray with his flash fiction.
Hello everybody. Okay. Who would you be if you could be anyone at all? What a stupid question. Well, I have to answer it. Me, I wrote, 5 years ago. I glanced around the room at the other interviewees, educated types wearing tailored suits and perfect haircuts. And they smelled so nice, all of them, so nice. I was definitely the dark horse. I closed my bloodshot eyes and rubbed them, feeling my oily skin. I was not cut out for this. I stared at the paper and tried to think of something better, something more inspiring, something that would best them all. But thinking was a little beyond me. All I could hear was the incessant scratching of pens on paper, like a drill to my brain. It bored through the layers and layers of titanium steel I had encased myself in, the days and months and years I had put between me and... I held the paper up in front of me and barely overcame the urge to scrunch it up, throw it on the floor. What was I thinking? Why would I write that? If even I think I'm not worth it, why would they hire me? I moved on to the following question. Why? Well, that had me stumped. Why indeed? Why was I here? Why did I bother at all? Why was I still able to breathe when... I still had hope, I wrote. Well, that's done it. Shot myself in the foot, again. I slapped my pencil down and pushed my chair away from the table. The sound grated through the silence of the room, and those near me shot uneasy glances in my direction. Perhaps my attire unsettled them. Perhaps they thought I had no place here, or that I was here by some court order. Perhaps they were afraid, or perhaps they just thought they were better than me. Well, I thought, what have I got to lose? Stuff it. I took up my pencil again and scribbled out the word hope. I knew what I had to write. I knew it was time to face it. 2 words, that's all. 2 little words, though how my hands shook. How the hairs crawled on the back of my neck. 2 little words. My brother.
Where is she? Michelle. Putting my glasses on. Michelle is going to read some of her story.
Well, not near. I'm going to tell my story instead of read it. I'm Michelle Berg, the author of Conversations with Paul. 3 years ago, I had the perfect life. Perfect marriage, a gorgeous spunky husband, had a house, we travelled, we had a holiday place, we had a speedboat. And within a split second, that all came crashing down because my husband was diagnosed with rare melanoma in his spine. So within 17 months from the day he was diagnosed, he passed away at home. So during this journey, when after he was diagnosed, he had 5 back surgeries or spinal surgeries, 1 brain surgery, had multiple radiation, multiple immunotherapy. So then, during our time, and when he was diagnosed as terminal January last year, we started talking about his bucket list. We started talking about death and dying and what I would do when he left, because I prepared him for death and he prepared me for life. So we've all had those conversations where you'd say, if I won $1 million, what would you do? Buy houses, go travel, travel, travel. So for me, I said to Paul, who was my husband, I'm going to go travelling. He says, oh yeah, that's great, where would you go? And I said, look, the first spot is Paris. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a life-size cutout of you, I'm going to squash you down, and then when I go to all my little sites, I'm going to pick you up, and we'll talk about this tonight, Carl and I, that I'm going to get a selfie, and we're going to take a photo of us at all these beautiful sites. And then I'm going to pack him back down, put him in my suitcase, and then we'll go travelling around. So he won't have a passport, but I will. So he said to me at the time, he says, you wouldn't, would you? I said, yeah, of course. I'm going to have fun doing this. So I'm travelling in September, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's shop around for a cutout though. So then, when he was diagnosed terminal, I said, what do you want to do? I said, you've got some, goals to reach. And he says, okay. I want to have a family get together, which I arranged in March, of all his family. And he said, I want to reach our daughter's 21st birthday, which he did, and our 25th wedding anniversary, which was on the 28th of April. And we actually renewed our vows. So I got beautiful footage of that, which I've been watching this week. So when, probably 2 weeks before he was dying, he said to me, I wonder what it's like on the other side. I wonder what it's like when you die. I said, well, I had my idea of what that was about. And I said, what if there's nothing there? And I said, my darling, what if there is something there? I said, how wonderful that would be. I said, we'll be able to talk to each other and communicate and have a lovely time. And I said, you come back and haunt me. So we've got 3 more days, and he's been, on Saturday he will have been gone 12 months. So since Paul has left, I still communicate with him. So I keep joking that I've got this long distance relationship with my husband, from although he's physically not here, but he's spiritually here. So I talk to him constantly. He shows me signs, and last time I was here, we were talking about magic and do you believe in magic and stuff. And he shows me signs. He has the Mini Coopers or the mini cars, which you don't see that often, but when I know he's around, he actually, I see quite a lot of them. I've got a couple of songs that our songs, which was Unchained Melody, which I heard this morning on the radio, and Have I Told You Lately, which is Van Morrison's song, and I hear that often. So he's still around me, I still feel him, he still talks to me, we talk on a daily basis of, I go for a walk with the dog, and he's going to help me write the next, the 3rd book, which is Conversations with Paul from Beyond. So thank you for listening for my story. The book is available, I get my special. It's available online and is available for $25. So thank you for listening for my story.
And you always carry copies with you?
Of course.
I'm assuming?
I've got a box in the car.
Cool. That?
Okay, it'll be a part of the short story. It's called, can't remember what it's called. The Bell in Black and White. I haven't got it at the front. When my sister buzzed my apartment at 2 a.m. one Saturday morning, carrying only her laptop, her handbag and her marmalade moggy, my first thought was that it was cruel to have named the underweight Tom Garth instead of Garfield. Perhaps she was suggesting he was only half a cat. Or maybe his name had more to do with her aversion to multi-syllabic words. What? What? This because my brain activity had only just requested deep sleep. Darce blinked in the air at the overhead lights. Sorry, the glare of the overhead lights. She reminded me of my drunk ex-neighbour trying to puzzle the wrong key into his front door after the building's first Christmas party. He'd worn the same cogs not meshing expression that currently graced my sister's face. Except Miss Teetotality wasn't drunk. I mean, we're talking about a person who balks at the idea of cough medicine, right? Someone who won't eat proper fruitcake. No closer to the reason for my sister's visitation, my befuddled awareness settled on the cat. Poor Garth. He looked as terrified by his mistress's behaviour as I was uncomprehending. His increasingly frantic efforts to extricate himself from her stranglehold had me ushering the pair of them inside. The muffled badump of feet hitting carpet told me his escape attempts had at last succeeded. While Darce's gaze followed his flight, her finger dabbed absently at the single bloody bead left decorating the hollow of her throat. Slightly more awake, I couldn't help but wonder how she'd managed to get here at all. "Come on, Darce," I said, en route to the kitchen. "I'll make tea." If anything were to get her going, the promise of a strong Earl Grey would be it. Except she didn't follow me all the way. I stuck my head out of the kitchen and caught her staring into the living room, shoulders jiggling, one hand at her lips. Garth had gone in there. A hollow space formed in my belly as I coupled the travel time from Echuca with her absolute refusal to take pee breaks during road trips of less than 4 hours. I headed back up the hall, wondering if her cat had just shat all over my carpet. I arrived to find him tail up, arse in the air, spraying my life-size sculpted calf. The evil little bastard was purring. Ouch! I circled behind him, intending to move him along with my foot. At the last possible second, I remembered that they were bare. Darce stepped forward, picked him up, followed me to the laundry. At least we could contain him in there. "Oh, flips," said Darce, her eyes pinched with sorrow. "He's not a bad cat, it's just..." I stuck my hand up in front of her face. It was our mother's gesture, the one she used when she was too angry to speak. Darce drew a breath, nodded. "I'll pour the tea," she said. I watched her move about my kitchen like she'd lived there for years. She didn't even have to go looking for things. "I'll need help with Moo," I said, my anger dissolving. Darce smiled, put her arm around my shoulders. "The cow?" I couldn't believe it. She'd come here a mess, and here she was comforting me. I led the way back to the lounge, slid open the balcony doors. If I had to, I could carry Moo on my own. Manoeuvring through the doorway was an entirely different thing. We had to feed her through the opening side on and breech. "Is it one of yours?" "Yeah," I said. I couldn't tell if she was interested or just trying to postpone my line of questioning. "Do tell," she said, picking up a cloth and wiping down Moo's flanks. The dot point version looks something like this. 1. Stupendously rich, grazily spoiled daughter demands sculpture of her beloved Maybelle. 2. Struggling artist completes commission piece. 3. Father dear loses fortune amid claims of inappropriate behaviour with a prize heifer. 4. Darling daughter refuses delivery. 5. Soon-to-be divorced mother offers artist outrageous sum in return for non-disclosure. Payment and product, a double win, I thought. But 2 years on, the black and white calf had become little more than an oversized knick-knack. "Oh, you know," I said, squeezing out another cloth. When we'd finished cleaning, Darce moved to the parapet, rested her hands on the top. "Not a bad view, is it?" she said. I had to admit, in the wee hours when there are absolutely no seagulls or flying foxes circling the glowing spire, the art centre looked particularly spectacular. "Nice cow!" The shout had come from across the road, amiable, admiring even. "Thanks," said Darce, waving at the wobbling trio below. "Needs a hat," said another. "With a daisy." A cheer went up as they resumed their haphazard way up the street. "Gumboots!" "Come on," I said to Darce. "We need to get her back in." "Why?" When I didn't say anything, Darth shrugged, ran her hand over the fiberglass rump. "I like her here," she said. I stepped back inside, looked properly at Moo for the first time in ages, then turned to survey my somewhat less crowded lounge. Darth was right. Moo did look better outside. I'll leave it there.
Thanks, Belle. We will continue this story from last month.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Finance. Somewhere. Some of you might remember that I finished last month with the story of the Olympic Games, when the presentation we had to sing the hymn. And then I mentioned that some years later, for some strange reason, I got this bronze medal for the Olympic Games. Anyway, to cut the long story short, I looked for it and eventually I found it. So there it is. A bronze medal of the Melbourne Olympic Games, which I still don't know why I got it, but anyway, it's there. Olympic Games. Okay. For almost 2 years, every Friday afternoon I would go past Maria's work, that's my sister, and together we'd catch 2 different trams to the Victoria Market to do the weekly shopping and carry everything back. Other shopping was left for Saturday mornings before everything closed until Monday morning. But then, through a chance meeting during one of my regular visits at the National Museum and National Gallery in Swanston Street, my life changed forever. As I was admiring a series of drawings, I was approached by a distinguished gentleman who was intrigued at the way I was looking at the works. I told him that I liked drawing and been doing it since I could remember, and that I wanted to continue doing in the future, but in a proper way. He happened to be Alan Sumner, the head of the National Gallery Art School, then one of the major art schools in Australia, if not the very best. I told him that at CBC I had won second prize at an art exhibition. He suggested I show him what I had done, which I did the following week. At the same time I decided to get a job so that I would not have to rely on my brothers and sister. And soon after I started working as a timber technologist at Caulfield Timber Company. I and many others were shocked when I was accepted to start art classes at the National Gallery Art School in February, aged 16. I was the youngest student there and still wonder how I managed everything. In the morning I would get the tram in front of our house straight to Caulfield, sometimes return home for a quick bite to eat, go to the National Gallery and back again to Caulfield. Sometimes, however, I would have to miss meals because I had been detained at work. At art school I started drawing plaster casts of hands, feet, skulls and portraits. Usually it would take a term or two before one would be promoted to the class where the students work with larger copies of old masters, and eventually, after a year or so, the big promotion to the life class. Yet I was fortunate enough that only after a few weeks I was promoted to the master's class, and I was so happy. At the end of the first term I had achieved more than I had dreamed, but more shocks were on the horizon. At the beginning of the second term, when I was still 16 years old, Mr. Sumner told me that he had promoted me to the life class, where I would work with nude models. Everyone started to congratulate me, and I could not believe what was happening. But suddenly the model came in and refused to pose nude in front of that little boy. It took some convincing, but after the first pose, she was reassured that I was somebody's backed around with us. That I was real, and she liked what I'd drawn. I was still in the clouds. I kept with this hectic life, started painting too, and to my greatest surprise, at the end of the year, I was asked not to miss the announcements of the prize winners, awarded by the three famous Australian artists, Alan Shaw, George Bell and Jock Friday. By the way, I still see Alan Shaw's son after 60 odd years. I nearly fainted when George Bell announced the winner of the Sarah Levy Drawing Scholarship is Marcello D'Amico. Suddenly there was a total silence. This little boy who had just turned 17 had won a major scholarship. Of course I was completely stunned. I could not believe what I had achieved. After the usual congratulations, the three artists congratulated me and they all offered to teach me free of charge. However, it then dawned on me that I could have a big problem at home when I would tell them what had happened. So far, for fear that it would literally kill me, I'd kept from my brother Tony that I was drawing naked women. I cannot remember how I did break the news, but Tony did not speak to me for a week or two. Eventually he ended the silence and said, "And you knew who have a brother who is a priest." But he did not know that I had already written to Vincenzo Ginostra telling him of my artistic progress. I leave it that. And that's true. I was terrified he was going to kill me. I think he lived in 10 centuries past.
Thanks, Marcello. Richard Trimber is going to read some poetry. Party decoration.
Just a obstacle course for you.
This will be a bit of a contrast from the last couple, but anyway. Blaise said I was going to read Party Decoration, which I will in a moment, but seeing that we've got 5 minutes tonight, well, I'll read two poems. The first one is, "It Wasn't There Before." How could I know what our lives held that first day when I met you? Yet I did. Perhaps not straight away, but still not long. Slowly realisation dawned, crept up on me, off guard and unaware, as the first light of morning creeps, gradually, so imperceptibly. The light comes, thin at first, but then in stronger hues, until at last the dawn is there. The dark void gone, and no one who has seen it knows when it began, or just when night succumbed to day. It wasn't there before, this patch of warm inside, this joy that bubbles up engulfing me when someone speaks your name, yet it's here now. And I know not just when it was that you became important in my life, but yet I know that it was not today or yesterday. It seems it's been 1,000 years. And now, as predicted by Blaise, we will have party decoration. When do we cut the ribbons which connect us? Cease the pretense of wishing to be the pillars of society, respected, looked upon as proper by our peers, the way we should be? When do we let go, release our grip on what we're taught are principles, and they their grip on us? Is it too late for our return to basic instincts, those which lie in wait but shrouded by the done and proper thing? Man's pomp and babble, cluttered now by overgrowth, a tightly woven net from which escape becomes progressively less possible. What holds us from our instincts? Lust, survival, will to live. From blood and water, warmth, and basic love? When will we cease to care what other people think and live our lives not by indoctrination, but rather by what instinct taught us as we left the womb? And when will we discard the window dressing, that which makes us what we are or have become, and robs us yet of what we truly are? Courage, my friends, and focus. The world is so enamoured of the illusion it creates, it can no longer recognise the truth behind society's facade. Ashes, dust, flesh, blood, and lust. These alone are real. The rest is fluff, inherited tradition, party decoration.
Thanks, Richard. Lazarus. You don't get out of it that easily.
Good. I know he's going to time me when I rang the bell. I'm not going to listen now. Okay, so this is, I don't know, page 165, I think you said it was. Yep. So it's about just over halfway through the book where Luke, the protagonist, is following Adam, who's the Indigenous player. He's joined the team with his girlfriend Amanda. There's some mystery surrounding Adam, so they're trying to find out what it is, and they're going to follow him home after a training session. So here goes. It was a bright night, a full moon that hung low and large over the far side of the creek, like the beam of a lighthouse wanting to bring us home. Adam was amazing. He must have put down 20 beers at the ULR, and anybody else would have been zigzagging. Not Adam. He was graceful as he crossed the oval and hopped the railing. The coolers were out because they shrieked, their cries echoing. Then Adam disappeared down the embankment. Amanda and I jogged across the ground to catch up. I managed it easy enough, but Amanda puffed so loud I was sure Adam would have heard her. We felt our way down the embankment, picked our way across the creek on the stepping stones, and clambered up the other side. Adam was a silhouette against the moon, keeping his undeviating line. We walked until the gums appeared, swaying like they were welcoming Adam. We had to jog again to try and keep track of him. The gums grew thicker until they blotted out the moon, a monochromatic darkness falling over us, and the wind whispered through the gums' naked branches, rising up into a low, shrill howl. Now we couldn't see Adam. We kept going straight as he'd done. Amanda stopped and I bumped into her. "You know where we are?" she said. I was about to ask how she expected me to know, especially in the dark, when it hit. These were the trees where we'd seen Rankin and the others. "Can you see him?" Amanda asked. I shook my head and we tread forward step by step until my legs grew heavy. We might have stepped into another world here, one that was cold and dark and wrong. The best thing to do would have been to turn back, but I felt a pull to keep going. Amanda must have felt it too, because she started to pick up the pace. I took her hand. The palm was clammy. A wall appeared in front of us. At least that's what I thought it was at first. A solid black barrier. As I got closer, I saw it was a stack of felled trees. The last time we'd seen this, there'd only been a handful. Now they were head high, and as we crept around it, it was evident that a large section of the bush had been cleared. My heartbeat thumped in my ears. Amanda's breath braided. Mine had stopped. Amanda stumbled and fell. My grasp on her hand broke. She shrieked and seemed to be swallowed up into blackness. Then the blonde head came up. She hadn't fallen onto the ground, but into the ground, inside a hole about the length of the body. Holes were everywhere, like some demented feral bunny had run amok. "Luke," Amanda said. A blur shot out in front of me, then a streak of silver. I ducked instinctively. Something whizzed over my head, then wood splintered. Other figures rose up, wraiths that appeared from the ground, dark and sinewy. Two beams of light blared directly across my line of vision. I blinked and lifted a hand to shield my eyes. A familiar denim jacket flapped in front of my face. I dropped back a step. It was Rankin. His hands were wrapped around the handle of a pickaxe, the worn blade buried in one of the fallen trees. His battered van was parked opposite me, headlights cutting through the night. The shadows went wraiths, but his usual crew. Schwarzer stood by the van, his hands snaking through the driver's window. I grabbed Amanda's wrist, hoisted her out of the hole and shoved her behind me. "Are you crazy?" I said. Rankin shook his head like he was a sleepwalker coming out of a daze. "You're trespassing." "Trespassing?" Amanda said. "This is private property," Rankin said. "My property." "What's with the holes?" I said. "I've been developing, clearing it out. Been at it the whole year." I didn't hear anything. "Building a house back there and everything. What are you doing?" "We're taking a walk in the moonlight," Amanda said. "Yeah, right." Rankin yanked his pick from the tree. "Get off my property, I'll have you prosecuted." He led the others back through the trees. "What the hell was that about?" Amanda said. My gaze fell on the fallen trees and my breath caught. "Luke?" I pointed. Blood trickled from the puncture Rankin's pick had made in the fallen tree. Thanks. Thank you. By the way, just thanks to everyone who came to my launch and to everyone who hasn't bought a book. You should. $1 from every book sold goes to the Indigenous Literary Foundation, which was Blaise's idea, so it goes to a good cause, other than me.
You might have to get Dr. Nandita is publishing a novella in a couple of months. Come on, start looking. And it's called Mirror Rising. So this is a part of it.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm very new to this. The protagonist is basically the thing that I'll be reading tonight is from the chapter Arrival. So she comes back from Melbourne she goes to New Delhi, and this is the scene that she's seeing after 5 years to speak. 5 years, I think, Paul? I'm lost, sorry, with 3 to 5 years, yes. So I'll just, sorry, I couldn't print because I don't have a printer. So, okay, So this is a scene when she just comes out of the airport. The traffic, the horns, the people, the new flyovers, and all around was so much greenery. She lowered her car window just a little bit to engage with the moving world outside. The damp air was thick with the sweet smell of rain, and smog hazed the vision of the motorist. She felt calm, as if the fog was a quilt protecting her from her fears. The fumes from the scooters intoxicating the air was not that much of a bother to her. The scooter riders had helmets on their heads. To her that was a revelation, people minding rules. The car suddenly stopped. A traffic jam. 10 rupees a garland to wash your sin. 10 rupees a garland. A little boy with a basket full of rose and jasmine garlands leapt out of nowhere, as if he was always there to take advantage of the traffic chaos on a cold night. The little genius salesman was knocking on every car window, trying to haggle down the luring garlands in the name of God. Just 10 rupees, auntie, or uncle, buy for auntie, your wife, and God will bless you forever for eternity. He changed his lines according to the occupants of the car. Mira laughed at it, and so did Mr. and Mrs. Sane. The sweet, intoxicating smell of the jasmine, combined with the incense coming from a makeshift temple around the corner, where people were queued to offer their prayers. Mira lowered her head and folded her hands in a soft prayer. The excitement of seeing people everywhere never bothered her, as now she was among her kind. Once she used to offer prayers like this while Mrs. Sane drove her to school. It was all coming back into her life. I'll leave it there.
Thanks, Nandita. Thank you. Yay!
And
Have you ever had that situation where you've just thought you've got it all together
Yes, many times.
and everything collapses?
All the time.
Well, that's happened to me quite a few times, and I'd like to tell you about some of those things. First one was, I may have told you this one, the swimming pool, change room. There's the 3 different types of people in the change rooms. The ones who walk around with nothing on for a long, long time because they're so beautiful, and the ones that walk around for a long, long time because they're used to what they've got and they don't care about it, and the ones that stand in the corner with a towel wrapped around them and nobody's seeing anything whatsoever, and that's me. This particular day, there's Miss Beautiful was walking around looking absolutely glamorous for much longer than she needed to. And I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to get showered, dried and everything without her seeing me? So I very carefully dried myself under the towel and managed to get myself dressed, and she didn't see anything at all, and I was very pleased with myself. And by this stage she was up at the mirror looking at herself, combing her hair in her beautiful suit and her high heels. And I thought, well, I am equal, I have it all together, everything's right in its right place, I can go up and stand beside her and do my hair. So I went up to stand beside her to do my hair, and I pressed my mousse, and it was facing the wrong way, and it shot straight up over my face. It was hanging on my nose and my chin. So that was one example of not having it all together like I thought I did. Another one was in the morning when we were getting ready for work, and we heard this noise, and we thought it was familiar, so we raced out the back onto the back patio. And as we got out to the back patio, there's this enormous hot air balloon hovering over the shed in our backyard. And we just stared at it, couldn't believe it. And the people in the basket were just looking at us really hard. And I thought, well, I suppose I should welcome them or do something. So I lifted my hand to wave and say hello. And I happened to look down by chance, and I was in my bra and my underpants. So that wasn't very good, really. And another time I had this wonderful outfit that I'd just bought, and I thought I looked Christmas in it. I thought I looked fantastic. It was one of those tight tops that did up between the legs, and you had a skirt over the top with lovely bright colours. And I went to the accounts department, and I walked the whole length of the accounting department, and everybody was looking at me, as they should. And I thought, I do look gorgeous in this, you know. And I get to the other end, and the secretary came racing over to me, and she said, Gay, you've got your skirt tucked into the back of your tights. So I had this blue bottom, or the entire... And the other one that was very embarrassing is I used to sing at a lot of weddings. And this time I was singing at the wedding up in the loft, and very pleased with my progress. I thought, that was quite good, that song. I sang it well. And then for some reason it occurred to me that I'd sung the wrong song. And not only had I sung the wrong song, but instead of singing There'll Never Be Another You, I'd sung at a wedding, Close the door, light the lights, we're staying home tonight. So that was my experience of doing some of the wrong things. I would like to sing you a song now, just for a change of pace. This is one that Mae West made famous, and because I look so like her, I thought I'd sing it to you. Don't laugh. I believe that everyone in life should have a mission. Making people happy is the height of my ambition. When I get them happy, well, they stay in that condition. I have a system of my own. I got a lot of what I got. And what I got's all mine, and I assure you I can cure you if you're feeling blue. Come up and see me sometime. I got a flat where you can hang your hat. I got a brand new line, and maybe you would like me to explain it all to you. Come up and see me sometime. Come up tonight. I think the paper said the moon would be bright. They should have had it in the columns and all, letters that told that you'll be falling for me, 'cause I am free and you appeal to me. How could it be a crime if you don't get my number? Well, my number's in the book. Come up and see me sometime. Here is the key, the room is 503. It's not so far to climb. You know the spider's invitation to the fly. Come up and see me sometime.
As you probably know, she's written a book, the second one, so it's the most economical tonight. It's only $20. Come and see me. I was allowed to put a couple
going to
of...
see you or her?
You can see either of us.
She might be on.
Gay's the one with the money. I was very fortunate enough to have a couple of my poems put in her book, so this is one. I've travelled a lot in the last 40 years in the textile industry. I've been very fortunate, and these are a couple of observations I've made of people while I was in San Francisco. It's called She. A note, a plea for help. She, squatting at the curb, young, rough, but beautiful. She, addicted. She, desperate, pleading, needing help. No one came. The next one is called The Watched. 10 p.m, dark sky, quiet, high above the Sunday night city. She moved with a superb grace, silently crisscrossing the cathedral's forecourt, skates catching occasional flickers of light from the street lamps. Young, lithe, athletic, lost in her thoughts, a delight to watch, the seemingly unwatched. Thank you. No.
Brian, are you going to read tonight?
Yes.
Yes?
That's all right.
Do you want to come up now? Brian, I'm assuming he's going to read some poetry.
That's right.
Yes?
During the readings, because my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, but we'll see how we go. This is a poem that I called At the Picture Show. And I was at a film, I think it was called Moonlight, starring Cher, I think, Bob Hoskins. And I was at the film on my own, and when it was over, I went downstairs under the theatre to a restaurant to have some dinner, and I got out a pad to try and work out what the film meant to me, and this was the result. It surprises me because I thought I was just making notes of my response to what the film was about, but in fact it talks about the different levels of reality that we inhabit when we go to a film. So, at the picture show. I am alone at the picture show. The lady on the big screen, much larger, mind you, than life, looks at a man with eyes so wide, so pleading, so beautiful, they're dark and liquid depths, in face as pale as a new moon in full, encased in coal black locks, ringed like a screw, and falling as waterfall to shoulder, pure bare ivory. As I was saying, this large and lovelorn lady looks at a man and says, let's leave, let's go, let's make love all night. He, just as large and just as caught by love, and whether for himself or her I can't tell, simply nods assent, his love's done. And so they leave the cafe and arm in arm walk down the wide, white road to the beckoning prospect of his small, snug apartment. And as I sit alone, yet in company with them, I ask myself, how does anyone make love? Is love an object to be fashioned by a man and woman intertwined? Is love simply to be made at word or whim, put on and taken off, an overcoat that's worn, be careful, not too close to the skin, comfortable and cosy on occasion, but always readily dispensable. I watch them now on screen inside the door, in a room where lighting is quite dim. The slow, seductive music of a modern love song, lazily creating atmosphere from the safe enclosure of a phonograph. The lady and the man embrace, press chest on chest, face on face, legs now as arms so closely met. At last, I whisper to myself, these two will now create the promised love. Yet perhaps still do not realise how near I am to them. Now they are disrobing, he, her, she, him. Movements come more quickly with an urgency of rising passion. Words no longer matter. Just a few phrases gasped and choked, frenetic. He carries her, both naked, to the bed. They fall upon the covers, he on her, dispensed with drawing sheets. A final frenzied coupling, deep sighs, groans of exertion, cries of pleasure. A sudden climax, and it is done. Silence now, except for the rough repetition of the record's needle's rasp, the song long past. The bodies still entwined, relax upon each other like two weeds in a pond, all motion slow and quiet and graceful and unhurried, still two, still one, and still. Still I wait the making of this mystery called love. Where is it? What's its shape, its form, its substance? I am much closer to them than an eavesdropper or an observer. I am with them in the room, in the bed, in the tight embrace and the passion, feel of the sublime moment. Still I ask, where's love? No answer comes, not even a hint of a reply. What they have made I do not know, cannot tell. But this I do know, love cannot be seen here. And what binds these two great shadows over me comprises many things which separately might be a face of love, an aspect even. Yet am I different. For while they have no more company than I can glimpse illusion in their lives, and they see none but my cold real alone.
So read. You want to read? Yeah? I'm not sure, are you going to read poetry or?
Oh, no, a travel blog. Sort of a blog. About 18 months ago, we went to Spain, Portugal and Morocco. So I had some fun writing a blog, sort of a blog for Facebook. So I'll just read. Morocco today is brilliant. We visited our first mosque after many cathedrals and had one of the first non-Muslim tours. Such a brilliant place, lunch was seafood by the sea, and now we're sipping pina colada, my first, in an exotic and brilliant hotel in Marrakesh. This city boasts a palm tree forest and silver mines. It's the most seductive place I've visited. We're listening to swing and the musician is brilliant on the keyboard. Gold gauze curtains, antique chairs, marble floors, pool and spa. This Africa is influenced by the wealth of the mines and big business. Heaven's Door is playing. Feel like a kid again. Hi everyone. Seville is brilliant. The Medici Palace is lined with ceramic pattern tiles with crests in the centre. Pattern upon pattern, camouflage doors and secret passages add to the mystique. Horse-drawn carriages remind me of Swan in Love and Proust, as we wait outside castles beside trees laden with lush oranges. Dynamic detail bas-reliefs, a 2,000-year-old section of a triumphal arch are among the objects of art we view. Risotto, seafood and lemon rice pudding beneath umbrellas in the centre of Seville are highly recommended. The weather is brilliant, and among the men are some attired in swanky, vibrantly coloured suits, vests, ties and brushback hairstyles. Many of them are not simply tall and thin, but strong and elegant with grace and bearing, as if they too dance the flamenco. Birds adorn the castle ceiling, so there's a magpie room, swan room at the castle of Sintra. Coimbra, a city of graffiti and sculpture, a major cathedral, a beautiful fountain with pigeons, and a cork industry of designer accessories such as handbags. Tiled, undulating lanes weave thoroughfares between shops and apartments. Spain is simply wonderful with cobblestone paving and charming lanes, cathedrals and castles, followed by fine dining in wide malls, are discoveries I will always remember. Crowds throng to Madrid each evening and amble down to the sea. Even in January, the weather is mild enough to enjoy outside dining under umbrellas beside heaters. Madrid sleeps for a siesta for a few hours each afternoon, and shops reopen for late afternoon and evening trade. The people are mostly educated, well-dressed and resourceful, but poverty is evident in Europe as it is in Australia, and people are deeply aware of the Syrian refugees. That's all.
Angus. You thought you could sneak in. Angus is going to read an excerpt from his novel. Yes.
Yep. Hi everyone. My piece is a bit more intense than everyone else's tonight, so yes, the prologue from what novel I'm writing. Amidst the storm's tenacity, Stefan fled down the streets of Animus. His old bones ached and begged for rest, but his soaring heart forced him on. The snatchers weren't far behind. "Help!" Stefan yelled. "Someone, please!" The rain battering against the cobblestone streets and brick houses swallowed his cries. Even if someone could hear him, they wouldn't care. Stefan was nothing, one among thousands who called the street home. Lightning whipped the sky, only to relinquish to darkness a moment later. Stefan barely managed to avoid the barking hound, but slipped. He crashed to the ground. The hound lurched, but its chain ring taut before its snapping jaws closed on Stefan. Clutching his heaving chest, Stefan stood. He looked in every direction. Nothing. He searched the rooftops. His heart stopped. The snatcher was there, nothing but a light shadow of black leather. Stefan stumbled forward. His shin throbbed from colliding with the pavement. His lungs burned and his pulse pounded in his temples, but he couldn't stop. If he went right, he would escape to the city centre. The guards there would protect him. He would be safe. "I don't think you'll make it," a woman said. Stefan turned. The masked snatcher slid closer. She pulled a knife. "You might as well just..." Her fingers danced along the blade. "Come closer." "I am a citizen of Animus," Stefan shouted. Another body will only call more men to stop you." The snatcher laughed. "When, oh when, will you lot learn? There is no stopping us. We are powerful." From the shadows appeared a second snatcher, and we are many. A third came from the shadows, then another and another. Stefan trembled. "Why are you doing this? Why me?" "Because you are no one." My, he tried to hold back tears. "My name is Stefan." The first snatcher shrugged. "No one." She nodded, and the other snatchers raised their arms. The rain sizzled as fire grew within their hands. The flames spread and linked with each other. Steam spilled across the area, swallowing the snatchers. "Now," Stefan screamed as the blaze consumed him. Thank you.
Annabelle.
There she is.
I'm
reading two mini stories tonight. They're part of a series called Humanity in Care that's being posted online. They come from conversations with people working in care. I pull into the hospital car park, ready to start work this morning, but my feet are too leaden to step out. Sobs begin. Why now? I'd been fine. Last night they brought a young man in, unconscious, with a tube in his throat, tangled lines hooking him to a multitude of pumps, and a machine that breathed for him. Deep bubble bruises and angry red marks covered his throat. His family had found him hanging, and we had rushed to save his life. Sitting in the car now, it strikes me, that could have been my friend. With no job, he had told me he had nothing left. He had talked of committing suicide. What if I had found my friend? I thought back to that young man's family. What could I say? How must they feel? I'm glad the senior nurses could console them with more experience than I had. I'd thrown my focus into getting the next step done, then the next step, and the one after that. The rest of the night had been busy, and by the time I left for home, I left it all behind. Now, 12 hours later, my tears fall for him, for his family, for my friend. We had done our best to save the young man who no longer wanted his life. Had we been doing the right thing? I hope so. And this is the second one. She totters, her cane slips and she falls. Her husband shuffles to the phone, dials 000. She can't get up. I've got to go help her now, he says, and leaves the phone hanging. The operator hears a cry a moment later. Hello? Hello? He calls down the line. His caller doesn't return. Our ambulance rushes to the scene. Was it one person or two people in need? Control center is unclear. We enter the house and we hear elderly voices. Judy? Judy? Harry, are you hurt? We breathe, reassured they're conscious. Yet neither answers the other. Confused, we follow their voices. He's lying in the hallway. Relief washes over his face as he sees us. Please, my wife, he says. 2 steps on, his wife lies in the doorway, her face hidden in a room. Their feet almost touching. She's still calling out. My partner enters the room. Oh, she cries in delight. Please, my husband. It's okay, we soothe, but their worry stays. And as we talk, we soon realize they're both hearing impaired. We sit them up, and as soon as they see each other, they laugh and they wave. They reach out to hold hands as we move them to the ambulance. We only have one stretcher for one patient, but if this had just happened to me, I would hold on to my love. We made a human choice and took them together to the hospital.
Thank you. That's a nice way to end. That's all the readers, unless anyone else came in that I didn't see.
Jessica said she wanted to read.
Jessica. Bo, you didn't read? Bo? No? No, sorry. Well, that's it for the readings. We're going to do our numbers, door prize. What have we got for door prize? Maybe a signed copy of Les's book. One other community announcement, Les. Is it Monday night your workshop? Les has a workshop on intro to fiction on Monday night, if anyone is interested. He's also running a novelling course.
Cake making course.
Yeah, he's making rainbow cakes as well. And we've also set the date for our next Karma King Lake writing retreat, which will be the 27th to the 29th of October. Any other announcements?
No.
Kev has an SLR camera workshop
Couple of weeks
coming up. Saturday week, I think. So, door prize is a copy of Les's book, personally signed.
I'll
sign anything.
I'll sign it for you. Everyone got their door tickets? Number 7.
It's me.
Just ask Les to.
Thank you.
If he doesn't sign, I'll sign it for you. Thanks everyone. Hang around. Have some rainbow cake that Les baked. We have a cup of tea, wine, whatever. See you next month. Thanks. If you want to buy a copy of the book, I know you've got it.
Can you buy it?